Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, soul, and mind, connecting to the heart and soul of who we are and what we do. Wow. Are we excited?
I am so excited. You guys, it's Friday. We've had a very, very full and abundant couple of weeks. And we are just getting moving on the business side of our business and what we do, which I would like to talk about later. But today's topic is
showing up.
Showing up.
Showing up every single day.
No matter what.
No matter what. You are literally the only person who can show up for yourself every single day.
Nobody can do it for you.
No one can do it for you.
You have to do it for yourself.
So I think this is interesting because I did some writing and reflection, and that's how we got to today's episode. And I struggle a lot with my own self-worth issues. So I was reflecting on my accomplishments. So I'm going to read some of those to you.
Perfect.
Okay. We are running our own business. I have goosebumps. Right. I have an associate's in business administration. I have a certificate in medical billing and coding. I have a history of being a licensed massage therapist. I have a history of being a licensed insurance agent. I worked for a federal program helping women and a few good men get screened for breast, cervical, and colon cancer. And during that time, I worked for that program for almost 8 years, 7.5 years or so. I became a certified community health specialist, because we were going through all those health changes in our world. So they thought that there would be a cool person that would help you find the doctors, so they had to learn all the anatomy, all the stuff that I already know for massage.
Right. But this is all things that you have to remind yourself that you've accomplished these things.
Yes.
That you
even though I was sick, even though I was going through a couple of divorces, even though I had all these life struggles going on, I still showed up and I did the learning work, right?
Right.
And I love what college did for my brain and putting all the pieces together.
Now, for those of you, our listeners, that don't know what that is when you say the things going on with your brain.
So when I was young, I was in a horrible car accident. I went through the side window of a 15-passenger van, one of those old 15 or 16 I don't know, big, long vans that you would see the crazy church ladies. Yeah. My grandma would drive other kids to school. And so it wasn't my grandma driving. I don't really want to go into the details of the family part of it, but I ended up going through the side window and landing on the concrete. And I had a horrible brain injury. The memories after that are just very scrambled.
Now, did they know you had a brain injury right away?
I don't know entirely. I know that there were some CT scans. I don't know that we know that what happened. The time and the medical care at the time. And
you were much younger. You were what? 7?
And my mom wasn't. Yeah, I was very young.
Right.
I always say 6, 7. I was young. My brother was young. So yeah, it must have been 6 or 7 because he was still in diapers. So he was little. So, and he's 5 years younger than me. So
you suffered this brain injury due to the accident.
And my mom is not super awesome. She has her own issues. So she's dealing with her own depressions and anxieties and other issues. So she doesn't notice that I can't read. And I go to live with my grandma. And she notices that I can't read. I can memorize things, but I am not reading. That's different.
Which at 7, you've already learned to read.
So now I'm with my grandma and I'm in 5th grade. So what's that put you, 8, 9?
Yeah, 9 and 10-ish,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
More math, right?
Right. More math.
Math on the fly. I don't, it's not my favorite thing. Get the calculator out. We can figure it out. But yeah, I always say everything happened at 9, but it was all that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I came to live with my grandma, and she notices, and she works with my teachers. They get me in special classes, and she's making me read, and she, all these hours. I spent a lot of hours where she would read to me, and I wasn't allowed to do much, but we didn't really know I probably had ADHD. So this is where I can French braid my own hair, but not really someone else's, because
Of how
during
your
that
brain
time,
works.
I spent lots of hours just braiding my hair over and over and over again while grandma made me read, or she would read to me and I would read to her, the back and forth, like, because she put in those hours of making sure I could read. But it also instilled like this love of learning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I felt like I needed to catch up with everybody. And I did that for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
long time. It's only very recently that I don't feel like I have to catch up with everybody.
Yeah.
So that's my little
That's
history.
her
Yeah.
brain history. So and then you throw in PTSD,
Yeah.
anxiety, and everything else into the mix, and things can get a little crazy.
Right.
So
And so things don't always connect in the same way that other people's brains connect.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of times for me, that shows up when I'm trying to read
Mm-hmm.
out loud, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I can't read, it's that when I try to form the words, like how my brain says it and how it comes out in word form, that's an interesting pathway in my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know that if you've been listening, because sometimes I'm like blah 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 blah, that's part of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the words are not coming,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we used to be so scripted all the time, right?
Right. But you keep showing up every single day.
Absolutely, every day.
Every day. And you were taught to show up for yourself every day by your grandma.
Yeah.
She taught, because she would sit down and read with you every day. You had to do it every day.
Yes.
You keep showing up every day. And you guys, Heather is the queen of showing up every day, whether she's had a great morning or not, whether she's in her pajamas or not, whether her
Right.
hair's been brushed or not. She keeps showing up every single day, regardless of what's going on in her day. And our third episode that we recorded of the podcast, she had just had major surgery and she was literally propped up in her bed. But she's like, I really want to do this, so I'm going to do this. I was like, you don't have to do this right now. It's okay. But she really wanted to do it. So giving her the power to control what she does.
Years and years of being sick.
Mm-hmm.
Years, 16 years of dealing with abdominal hernias. Like, that's every day you have to show up, you have to do the things, and if I wanted to have life, I had to learn how to show up in that.
Right, but not only did you have abdominal hernias, but you also had an autistic child.
Yes.
That you have to keep showing up for every single day, every moment of every single day.
Yes. That's where self-care comes in, right?
Right. And yes, self-care is very important when you are showing up every single day. And what does that look like for you?
Showing up every day, I think it's always been a challenge. And I think one of the things, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to you about this yet because we've been so busy. And lately we've been meeting some really amazing people with different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about some of my food issues, because obviously we still got some rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep working on the things. We're not done. This journey's not over, right?
Right.
We're on to a new chapter, right? Yeah. We started a new book last year, and now we're on to a new chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about the meditation we do with chocolate. And you know how you sit and you let the chocolate melt?
Right. So you put like a Hershey's Kiss or a little square of Hershey chocolate in your mouth, and instead of chewing it and manipulating it with your tongue and things to get it to melt faster, you just let it melt.
That moment of being in that moment that's what food does for me every single time I eat.
Hmm.
I think I caught the mindfulness, but because of everything going on, that's like the only time I knew how to access it.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
So I love that we've explored so many different types of meditation that, and I've gotten over that limiting belief of I can't meditate, which is just a fun story in and of itself.
Mhm.
After taking yoga for over 5 years in a class where we're meditating every week, I still had that story. I can't meditate.
Right.
I think it was a religious label. The
Mhm.
meditation was inappropriate.
Right.
You don't meditate, you pray.
Right. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And now you understand that. It's the
Right.
same thing because you were tapping into a higher power.
And just that fear of doing something inappropriate. Like,
Right. Am I doing it wrong?
so much that goes right into learning to not be a people pleaser, right?
Ooh, we do that. We try to please people all the time, but learning to not be a people pleaser all the time and learning to do things for yourself.
Right. And learning what those self things are.
Uh-huh.
It's a deep process.
Right.
Like, I still struggle sometimes. I'm like, what is it I want? What do me want right now?
Right.
Oh, I want to just like stay here for a minute and just be okay. That's okay.
Mhm.
Right. Like,
that's the second part is not only accessing what it is that you really want, but then doing it.
yeah,
It's totally different. Be like, I want to do this, but can I? Like giving yourself permission to do the things that you want to do that fulfill you, that make you feel good.
you're learning to value yourself when you're starting to do those things.
Right. And
Right.
it recharges your batteries.
Yeah. And then you get to show up more
Yeah,
in the way you want. Right. It's
Right.
really a cool like cycle.
Right. Because if you are energized in what you're doing, you are being fulfilled in it, you have more energy to do more of that. So and that goes back to following your inner knowing.
I align every day with my heart, and it makes it easier to know what I am truly aligned with versus those around me and what they're looking for.
Now, what does it feel like when you are in alignment?
It's this joyful vortex for me. I really like the vortex because I feel like I have always had like a whirlwind around me. Right. I love everybody and I love all the things and I really love people and I love seeing people succeed. But it's a big vortex of whoosh, stuff sometimes is trickling around you and there's a lot going on because I've chosen to be part of the community. Right. I've chosen to show up and take on extra people as children and show up in love every day. Right. I've chosen those things.
And what does it feel like when you are not in alignment?
Feels sticky and yuck.
Right.
Yeah. And I can really identify that now.
Right. And that takes practice.
Yes.
And we've been practicing working in alignment for
a long time,
over a year, both of us.
Yeah. And even before we became our podcast, before we became friends, we both worked on it. I know that I have a friend, Lauren Dorsey, that wrote it's a book called Alignment, and it's about journaling and becoming in alignment with yourself and seeking that. It's a really good 90-day journaling experience because really that's where it comes out. Right.
Right. I have a lot of things come out in meditation. I'm not super awesome about writing them down and journaling, but I get this clarity.
You are like further along in that, right? Like, so I have to write it out in order to get it out because that's how I process. I think that we all process a little different,
Right.
But watching you process is really cool too, because I've been with you through it all, right? And watching you meditate, let the tears flow, let it process through your body and let it go. It's really cool to watch you do that.
Cool. Happy to know.
Right?
Yeah. And, that's what prayer and meditation and whatever you want to call it is for. It's for releasing the negative energy, allowing the positive energy in, getting clarity on things that maybe aren't so clear in the chaos. It's calming the mind so that you can see the compass.
Right.
You know which way to go.
And a lot of times I think that I have been living in belief and faith for that compass because I can't see what it will look like.
Right. But do
And
you
that's
have to
okay.
see the end of the path?
I don't have to see the end of the path because
Because you're
I'm
not
really
attached.
comfortable being uncomfortable.
We are both really good about just trusting the process.
Yeah.
And
And the journey.
And the journey and letting it kind of morph.
Because we both learned you were going to say it. You were going to say it.
We both learned
we're not attached to the
outcome.
outcome.
We're not attached to the outcome.
Right? Because we never know how things are going to work out.
Right.
We never know how you're going to get an iPad in your life. Right.
Here we are. It's October. And back in January, when we did our vision boards, or no, June, when we did our last vision board update.
Yes.
You put dogs on your vision board.
I felt really weird about that, but I knew dogs were coming.
Right. And how did that happen for you? Like,
I'm helping a friend and I'm taking care of an extra dog. Like, it's not mean that I need to own a new dog.
Right.
Which is what I thought when I first put it on there. I was like, and then I was talking to you, I was like, it is not realistic for me in my apartment to have a puppy. Like, that's not realistic, Heather. Like, but I knew, and it made space for when someone wasn't, needed an extra hand.
Even if it's
temporary. There wasn't even a breath, right? Can you? Yes.
Right.
There was no hesitation because I was already ready for it. I didn't know why. Right. I was like, why do I have this dog on here? Right. I kept thinking about like, that's weird. But I was prepared for what came in. Right. So when we do vision boards, a lot of things that I do is just what feels good. And so then I'm putting those things into my world, right? Just like when I got you, right? I knew I needed trees. We knew about this house. And I'm thinking these are things that I needed.
Like, these things feel good to me in this energy space I'm in.
And how I got a she shed is not how I thought I would have a she shed, right? It's
my shed at my house with my trees and
your living room and your furniture. Exactly. So I foresaw you, but I could, if I was attached to that outcome, I would feel devastated because I don't have a house. I don't have my own trees.
Right. And what does that cultivate in you?
That's yucky.
It cultivates jealousy or
self-doubt.
Like self-doubt.
But if I step back and look, I have all these things that I've asked for to be in my life. All of them.
And being grateful for them. Then what happens? It's the abundance piece,
right? Okay. So let's see. When I am true to myself, I am happy. I feel joy. I feel very deeply. But when I'm not listening to myself, when I'm not aligning with my heart in the morning, I feel disconnected. I am lonely. I am deeply sad and I lose my vibrations. I can feel everything just get slow and sluggy
and heavy.
And I've been there and I don't want to ever be there again.
Same girl, same.
Right. So I align myself. So I align with myself and we keep teaching how to do that, right? We keep showing up every day in different ways. So that's meditation, that's self-care, that's earthing, that's getting crafty, and doing what will I say thank you to myself for tomorrow?
Right. Like yesterday, I can't remember what it was I did, but I did something ahead of time.
Yes.
And I'm marking things off our whiteboard or whatever. And I was like, oh, I already did that. Thank you, past self. And I was able to check it off because there's nothing better than a checklist and you just
right. I'm like,
right?
oh, you did it. You did
I
the
did it.
thing.
I did the thing.
Yeah. And that feels good. Do you hear your voice
good.
lifted?
Uh-huh.
And so your vibrations lift, you feel more joy. That's sparking the joy in ourselves when we can thank ourselves.
Right.
So, and I always go back to Amanda. We miss you, Amanda. Amanda Holler. I was like, her last name just totally went out. Her face is in my head. See, there's the brain. So Amanda, I always have you in my head. And one of the things that you say, besides it's a thing, is now I've lost it. I was concentrating. So 30 seconds. If 30 I can get this done in 30 seconds
I'm just
or
gonna
less, just do it. So like today, there was a few drops of something on the counter, 30 seconds. That wasn't even 30 seconds and it's done.
Right. Or there's a couple of dishes in the sink that need to go in the dishwasher. You just rinse them off and you put them away. Don't let something bother you to the point of getting mad about it. We could do a whole podcast on that.
Right.
Alone.
Right.
Maybe we will. But
and it's finding that source of the anger, like follow the trail back. Like when did you start to get upset? Because mine used to be laundry. That's where my awareness came in, was with the laundry. I already have enough PTSD in the bathroom. And then that was our laundry room area, because that's the only place you could put it. And then it would just be piles of laundry in the bathroom, and it would create so much anxiety. And then I would lose my mind over the laundry, right? It was a horrible cycle.
Right. So just take care of the laundry.
So making the plan and having the plan and doing the things. So now I don't remember the last time I felt anxious about my laundry. It's like
we've also created a space where we can work and do the things that we need to do to take care of our families. We created a space to do that because those things are important to us and they align with us.
Like our speaker we heard last week, when she's like, I can be a mom and do the things, and we can marry them together because it's called balance. Right? She was fabulous. She was fabulous. We have been just blessed to be around some amazing women showing who they are and what they've gone through, and just showing up and sharing who they are.
And watching them work in alignment too. Yeah. And watching the magic happen, because we all understand that life happens for us, not to us. So when you're having that hard day and that car cuts you off, breathe. Life happens for you. Life happens for me. Life happens for me. Not to me. Right. And everything happens when it's supposed to happen, and not a minute sooner. Not a second sooner. And that includes the hard stuff. Right. You're ready to deal with them when they happen, no matter how horrendous and awful they are. Yeah. And we can do hard things. We can do hard things, and you can do hard things too. Yes. So wake up and align and find your heart. My foot's cramping. Ow, ow, ow. I need to walk today. We've been working on the computer. So wake up and take a minute and breathe. Don't let the outside world, don't let that inner yucky person either kick them off your shoulder, because that was a problem for me, is that nighttime voice and that early morning voice piece, what I was saying to myself. So make sure that you have planned for that. So some of the things that I've done is planning what I'm going to read first thing in the morning when I wake up. I'm already worthy. I'm already enough. However it is you need to hear it, what vibrates well with you. Because if you just say I'm worthy and that doesn't feel good to you, but you slow down and you say I'm already worthy, I'm already enough. Guess what? If you say something enough times, you begin to believe it. That's the same thing with these negative things agreements we've made with ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? It's because it was said to us enough or in such a way that we believed it.
Yes.
Maybe it came from somebody we trusted. Maybe it came from somebody who loves us. You know, maybe these negative words came from somebody who's supposed to love us.
Or there's somebody that we personally admired and they said.
Right.
Fill
So
in the
one
blank.
of the things that
because especially when we're little, right? We look up to people in such a glamorous way. They're like almost sparkly. And the sparkly person said this to me, and so it sticks. So sometimes that's something really good, and sometimes it's not really good.
Right.
Right.
So where did these agreements
if the right
come
person
from
says I'm a really good singer and you're 5 and they tell you you're a really good singer, and the way they tell
you're gonna keep singing,
you believe it.
You believe
The
it.
same person says, oh, you're not a very good singer, I don't sing. All of a sudden, they put you out.
Right.
They put your flame out.
Right. Let your light shine.
Woo! Oh my gosh.
So one of the things that us as humans do is perpetually punish ourselves for the same mistake over and over and over and over and over and over again. And we like to point out other people's mistakes so that we can punish them on their mistakes, but then they end up punishing themselves even more for this. Like
it's the
nasty
agreements
cycle
that we've made with ourselves, right?
Right. And breaking those agreements and learning what is true and pure and awesome about yourself.
Right.
Because you are worthy.
Because I read all of these accomplishments and I think, how could this woman not know she's amazing?
Mm-hmm.
And that woman was me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think I was amazing.
You are amazing. I love you.
Oh, I love you too. But what's more important is I love myself.
Yes. I love myself too.
And then when you start to love yourself, you start to trust yourself.
And when you start to trust yourself, it's magic.
You stop saying yes to things that don't light up your heart.
Right.
You're no longer a people person or people pleaser. People person. Maybe you're not a people person.
And when you go out,
a pleaser.
Yeah. Right? And when you go out in the world and present yourself, as the entrepreneur, businesswoman, whatever you present yourself as, other people see that light, they see that passion, they see that fire in you, and that
they don't
joy.
Understand why you're in your head and don't think these things of yourself.
Right.
Because if they haven't had that imposter syndrome issue before, they don't understand why you don't just do the thing. And it's because we're stuck in our heads. It's because maybe we need to learn to meditate in a different way, and not only when we're eating.
Right.
And that it's so powerful. I'm excited for some of the guests we're going to have on later this quarter.
Yeah,
we're working on some ladies to get their voices heard, working with some schedules, and
right.
We have some really exciting things coming. And the transition from moving into 3 episodes a week has actually been really hard for us.
It has. It's like, are we forgetting something?
Yes. But we're not talking to people.
Right. We are very much out in the world talking to people, which is why we've cut down to 3 a week. Our schedule is getting very, very full, and we still want to
say our dance card's full.
Our dance card's full,
which is great.
Instead of saying we're very busy, we're trying to say we're very full. We chose this. This is bringing us forward in our journey and our life, and
our serving of people and others.
Right.
This is where we're supposed to be.
It is. So not only are we doing the podcast now, you guys, we have branched out a little bit to help others in our community. We've been doing some social media education locally with our networking group. And we've people have approached us and asked us to help show them how to do things. And then when we show them how to do the things, they're like, that's a lot. Can you do that for me? So we figured out a way to help our community.
We made a system.
We did. With their social media, with their audio and video presence, we have begun helping others edit and post their podcasts.
I'm so excited.
We are helping others with their social media consistency, creating graphics and things like
Which
that.
is all
It's
part of
so
our
cool.
mission of helping others get the know, like, and trust factors for your businesses out there.
Right. It's still
Yeah.
our mission, but we are officially Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business LLP, social media, marketing, branding,
And podcasts.
and podcast. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty rad. And thank you guys for being on this journey with us. We're going to keep bringing you awesome content all the time as we learn and grow together and share the space together. And thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much for the space that you've welcomed us into and allowing my voice to be heard even when I wasn't ready.
Right. We love you.
Love you.
And we love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Mwah.
So we are Sue and Greta, or our trail names are Lilo and Stitch, and we are hiking the whole Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, so 2,194.3 miles. And we're doing it to raise $50,000 or more for Parkinson's disease research.
Yeah, through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And we are doing it all in honor of my dad, her husband, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease back in 2010. So and we all know so many people who are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and we are trying to do our small part in the world of Parkinson's disease to find a cure.
Welcome to the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, soul, and mind, connecting to the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.